As you can see, we're at Aston Martin to complete some paperwork for one of our clients.
Dark matter is back to life. It's now running a full return style fuel system. It is now got 100% methanol in the fuel tank, and now we're going to put it in the dyno. This will be the first time we dyno a car with a return fuel system. Basically, we've never been able to do a pull on 100% methanol because the fuel system has never been strong enough. Now it is. With the return fuel system, we're hoping that it will be sufficient. Who knows what happens, you know, maybe we'll get a misfire, maybe we'll get a big kaboom. When you're testing things can go wrong, and this is the reason why I have this car. The sole purpose of this car is to blow it up, to break things, to find the limits of things. Ultimately, we don't want to find out on your car, we want to find out on our own cars. So when we build a car for a client, we know what the limit is and we stay very far away from it, so that once it's built, it lasts. That is our goal here.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
We had a little bit of a malfunction there. Obviously, fuel leak from the car. This is why I will never do a return fuel system on a customer car. We did a couple of pulls, and after we did a couple of pulls, I ran a fuel pump test to run the pumps at 100%, just to verify that the fuel system is good, there's no leaks. And as we did that, one of the push lock connectors on the regulator here popped off. There was a massive fuel leak. This is why you'll never see a production car with a return fuel system. So all of you V10 guys, BMW guys, GTR guys, these are all using this system. It's so ghetto. Like, I'm doing it for the sake of building a race car. Like, this car will never be used in the street. This car will be used on a dyno and on the drag strip. Like, street cars, my ass. Okay, so that's our first successful pass on methanol. Made around 900 wheel, but that's not all the way turned up. Now we're gonna yank the engine out, change the turbos. So we had this McLaren come in for PPI. Funnily enough, it came directly from McLaren. It's missing the rear glass as they're carrying out a safety recall on it. Fun fact, we inspected this car before this time last year. It was wrapped green, you might remember it. It hasn't changed much or put much mileage on since then, but it is always mandatory that we re-inspect it, because who knows, time and time again we get customers asking us, hey, you've inspected this car in the past, can you send me the report, I will pay you. We cannot do that, unfortunately, without re-inspecting the car, because it's not fair for the seller and it's not fair for us to give out information on a car that's been inspected, even if it's 2 weeks ago. The inspection is expired. We didn't find too much wrong with this car. We're looking to go ahead with it, and and acquire it for a fresh build for one of our very special clients. Okay, so it's finally time to tune dark matter on methanol. So this is obviously now running a full custom return fuel system. Not something we do on client builds, but it is something we're doing because this is our race car. That's why it's got, you know, notes all over it. Interesting note, this one, keep oil level at the minimum. There's also a note here, wheel bolt missing, but fortunately when we dyno the car, we don't use tires or wheels for that matter. Because this car's been through so many iterations now, I'll give you a quick update on what it's running. Fully built engine, Senna cams, an ID fuel controller. It's running a return fuel system. It's on stock turbos. It has an upgraded clutch. It has an LSD, and it has air filters, inlets, and downpipes. Not our craziest build, something in the middle, you know. I'm hoping to end up somewhere between 1150 and 1200 wheel tonight. One of the reasons why I wanted to use methanol is because not only does it burn cooler, but it also makes more power. So the power is coming from the engine, not the turbos. We're spending a lot of time setting up the fuel system to make sure it's good before we start turning the power up. Now we're pulling the engine out of dark matter again with all of our successful testing on methanol. So now we're installing exhaust gas temperature sensors. What do exhaust gas temperature sensors do? Well, obviously measure the temperature of the exhaust gas. We want to monitor exhaust gas temperature so we can be mindful about melting things inside the engine. We've never monitored exhaust gas temperature before, and we will be now, but we'll be bolting a sensor on here, around an inch away from the outlet on the cylinder head for the exhaust gas. Now we'll finally get an idea of how much temperature the exhaust manifold is running. When the factory develops a car, so when they're developing a 720S, they have these sensors. Without all of these sensors, a lot of tuning is guesswork. So unfortunately, when we get a car, we've only got so many sensors that we can work from. So yeah, that's the next step. We're going to learn about exhaust gas temperatures.
Good evening, guys. Today it is 40 degrees outside. We are heading to a dealership, not a McLaren dealership, but a British dealership, to complete the purchase of one of our clients' cars. In addition to making cars faster, doing engine builds and all that, we also take care of managing our clients' cars, which is very important. So that's my side of the job. That's what we're doing today. We're going to complete the purchase of one of our clients' car. The hardest part about Dubai is finding parking or understanding where the parkings are, because Dubai is beautiful, the buildings are beautiful, and there's a bunch of stores and dealerships, but the parking situation is the biggest nightmare. Somehow, as you can see, we ended up in Kempinski Hotel. Hello, how are you? So I'm only going to grab coffee. Okay. Can you valet just for like 20 minutes and then we'll be back?
Okay, no problem. I'll get the stamp otherwise.
If no stamp, how much?
100 dirham.
100?
Yes.
But it's only 10 minutes. But if I get stamp, it's okay.
Yes.
Company expense. I always get lost. And like people give me directions, but they're not directioning, you know? As you can see, we're at Aston Martin to complete some paperwork for one of our clients. For privacy purposes, I cannot record inside, but I will be out shortly with an update. Also, we're in downtown Dubai. Isn't it insane how they just place a vintage Aston Martin outside for people to see? Very tempting to buy, but yeah, I will keep you updated on how it goes. I'll be out shortly. We just completed the paperwork, as you know. So we are now on our way to NVN. As you guys know, we just acquired a new warehouse. There will be more focus on detailing, on management. But for now, we are working very close with NVN. This is where we send all of our cars. They're very, very good. They now are working on the 812 Competizione. It's there for tint. We always like to keep a good relationship with the people we work with. Also, we work with very expensive cars, so we like to keep an eye always, knowing every step, what has been done, what has not been done, if they have any question. Yeah, so now the car is there to get tinted. So let's go check it out. Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. We're just here at NVN. We're coming in. Are you in the office?
I'm not, but I'm also coming in now.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, guys, so we made it to NVN. They have honestly a very, very nice facility. All right, so the 812 Competizione is finally ready for collection. As you guys know, we did a full PPF on it, expel and ceramic window tint. You want to hear her out? We already did a stage 2 on it, so let's hear her out. Out of respect to the people that work at NVN, I will not be revving it because the windows generally might break of how loud it is. All right, now we're gonna call recovery and get the car back to Infinit. Now that the 812 is ready, we're gonna send a recovery to pick it up and take it back to the workshop. So the hard part of the day is done, and now we're heading back home.
McLaren Senna back on the lift. Two problems. So obviously we tuned this now to 900 wheel. It's been on our dyno. It's been road tested. We've handed it back to the client, put some miles on the car. Logged it on the road. What did we find? We found when we were logging it on the road, the intake air temperatures were increasing as we were accelerating. And that's not so common on a McLaren, believe it or not. So I believe there to be something wrong with the coolant pump. The thing is, if the car was never tuned, you would never know because you can't really log intake air temperatures without a data logging suite. So we're gonna do some tests today on the coolant pump to see maybe it's leaking internally. When the seal fails inside the coolant pump, the hot and the cold side coolant mix together and it causes the cold side coolant of the car to run a lot hotter than it should. One of the signs of a failed coolant seal for the cold side. So here there's a seal that separates the hot coolant from the cold coolant and we can see it's leaking here, so I'm suspecting that the seal has failed, but we're gonna do some tests on it and I'll show you guys how we diagnose this. One more thing, so now that we handed the car back to the client reports that over a certain speed limit that I cannot disclose, the car feels a little bit floaty. We have the car back in now. The McLaren Senna uses 4 carbon fiber accumulators additional to the 4 regular accumulators we see on a normal McLaren like a 765 LT. The carbon fiber accumulators need to be recharged with nitrogen gas every year, so we're going to check the pressures on the carbon fiber accumulators, one for compression, one for rebound, and then there are 2 at the front. So we'll check to ensure it's got the correct amount of nitrogen gas in there. If it does not, we will charge them, and that should resolve the floaty issue at high speeds. Okay, first 750S on the dyno. This is a US spec car. It's in for stage 2. I've wanted to dyno one of these for the longest time. It made 720 on the last run there. It made 735 wheel. Very, very similar to what a 720S makes. Basically the same power as a 720S. 720S's in stock form, we see consistent 720 wheel. This I saw 720 wheel, 720 wheel, and on the third hit, he gave me 735 wheel. So yeah, I guess it's 735 wheel. Maybe the next one is 745 wheel, you know, who knows. We'll bump this up to stage 2. Obviously, the main difference between the 720 720 and the 750S is final drive. The gearbox ratios are shorter, so that makes it a riot to drive. We're going to turn this up to 800 wheel on our stage 2 package. Downpipes, inlets, air filters, blow-off valves, and our tune. That should wake the car up a little bit. It'll also add 50 foot-pounds of torque. It's a nice starting point for this 750S. The spec on this car for 750S is really cool. So you've got the Electroform badge here. This is, they basically put the badge inside the lacquer. You can't feel it from the outside. Obviously carbon fiber hood. It's got carbon fiber eyelids, carbon fiber front splitter, dirty air ducts. It has a carbon fiber tonneau cover. This option from McLaren is extremely expensive because it's such a large piece of carbon fiber. You've got carbon fiber rear spoiler. This is a bit of a Marmite option, to be honest. It's a carbon fiber rear exposed bumper. Me personally, I'm not a fan, but hey, you know, it's carbon fiber. Carbon fiber's cool. Loads of carbon fiber on this car. Carbon fiber rear lower splitter. Well, yeah, awesome spec for a 750S. It's basically fully loaded with all the carbon options. So, fun fact, McLaren spent a lot of time on the exhaust for the 750S. The 750S uses an iteration of the 765 LT exhaust. So, it's 2 straight pipes coming out the side and a sound chamber in the middle. The sound chamber is where the magic happens because it's supposed to be the best sounding McLaren they made. They spent hundreds of thousands of hours developing this back box. So yeah, let's see what it does. It's supposed to be even better than a 765.